Marianne Faithfull, the iconic singer, songwriter, and actress whose tumultuous career mirrored the shifting tides of fame itself, passed away on a somber Thursday in London. Her death was confirmed by Republic Media, the music promotion company that had been central to her legacy. In a statement, a spokesperson for the company expressed their sorrow, stating, "It is with deep sadness that we announce the death of the singer, songwriter, and actress Marianne Faithfull. Marianne passed away peacefully in London today, in the company of her loving family. She will be dearly missed." The news rippled through the music world, and a wave of tributes poured in from fans and fellow musicians alike. To those who had followed her remarkable career, the loss felt profound, the world now a little quieter without her unmistakable voice. Faithfull's journey through life had been marked by triumph and tragedy in equal measure, a roller coaster ride of fame, heartbreak, and personal reinvention that was as inspiring as it was heart-wrenching. Her story was one of a young woman who had captured the world's attention before she was even 17, a golden-haired beauty whose ethereal voice resonated with an entire generation. But it was the contradictions of her life, the mix of elegance and rebellion, light and shadow, that made her such an unforgettable figure. She embodied the essence of the 1960s, the decade that became her stage, with all of its magic, chaos, and excess. It was in the mid-1960s that Faithfull first rose to fame. With her pale beauty and otherworldly voice, she became an icon of the swinging 60s. The world saw her as a symbol of youthful promise and creativity, and the success came quickly. Yet beneath the surface of the glamorous young woman on magazine covers lay a restless soul, one who had not been prepared for the weight of the fame that she had so rapidly achieved. The London of the 1960s was a city where culture and music collided, and Faithfull, like many of her peers, became a part of that cultural revolution. Her first big hit, As Tears Go By, written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, was a melancholic ballad that showcased her fragile voice and cemented her status as one of the most unique vocalists of the era. But it was her relationship with Jagger, the charismatic frontman of the Rolling Stones, that truly defined her early years. Their romance, which began in 1966, was the stuff of legend, a whirlwind affair set against the backdrop of the cultural upheaval of the times. They were young, beautiful, and seemingly invincible, their lives an open book for the world to read. Faithfull was not merely a muse to Jagger but a partner in spirit, her own personality as magnetic as his, both of them propelled by the same forces of creativity, excess, and rebellion. Their love affair became emblematic of the era. Theirs was a relationship that seemed to encapsulate the hedonistic nature of the 1960s, intense, passionate, and fraught with contradictions. Faithfull's personality was unapologetically free-spirited, and her words reflected this. "If LSD wasn't meant to happen, it wouldn't have been invented," she famously declared, a remark that became as legendary as the woman herself. She embraced the counterculture fully, rejecting conventional values in favor of living in the moment, experimenting with both mind and body. It was a life of extremes, and it wasn't long before the pressures of fame, coupled with personal demons, began to take their toll. In 1967, the world watched as Faithfull's life began to unravel in public. A notorious drug bust at Keith Richards' country home, involving both Jagger and Richards, sent shockwaves through the media. Faithfull became a tabloid sensation, often reduced to little more than a symbol of scandal rather than being recognized for her artistic contributions. The infamous photograph of her, sitting on the floor, disheveled and surrounded by police, would come to haunt her for years. Public image of the beautiful, wild young woman was now juxtaposed with the reality of her struggles, and her reputation would forever be shaped by this event. By the early 1970s, Faithfull's personal life had spiraled out of control. She was battling heroin addiction, living in the streets, and fighting to regain any semblance of stability. The fairy tale that had seemed to define her early years had collapsed, and she was now living in the harsh reality of addiction and homelessness. Faithfull, once the picture of elegance and grace, was now a shadow of her former self. Yet even in the darkness, her resilience began to shine through. Her raw, unflinching voice became the tool through which she reclaimed herself. By the late 1970s, Faithfull had undergone a dramatic transformation. The voice that had once been soft and angelic had been weathered by years of hardship, but it was now stronger, more textured, and capable of expressing the depths of her emotional experiences. It was during this period that she released her groundbreaking album Broken English in 1979, a work that would forever change the course of her career. The album, which was both raw and confrontational, shocked audiences and critics alike. It was a far cry from the pop-tinged ballads of her early years, instead featuring themes of pain, betrayal, and defiance. The album resonated deeply with those who had known loss and struggle, and it marked Faithfull's emergence as a powerful and unique voice in the music industry. The success of Broken English was not just a comeback, it was a reclamation of her identity. The album's critical acclaim helped to secure her place in the music pantheon, and she began to gain respect as an artist in her own right, rather than as the former lover of Mick Jagger. Faithfull's music no longer belonged to the past. It was now firmly rooted in the present, shaped by the experiences of a woman who had lived through the highs and lows of fame. The album's raw, unapologetic lyrics were a stark reflection of the tumultuous life she had lived, and they resonated with a new generation of fans who saw in her not just a singer but a survivor. As the years went by, Faithfull continued to push the boundaries of her artistry. She experimented with new sounds, collaborated with a wide array of artists, and consistently challenged herself to evolve. Even as she aged, she remained fiercely independent, refusing to conform to the expectations placed upon her. Her later works, such as Before the Poison and Give My Love to London, were filled with reflections on life, love, and loss. These albums were hauntingly beautiful, showcasing a woman who had been through the fires of both personal and professional turmoil, and had emerged from them stronger than ever. Through the years, Marianne Faithfull's wit and sharp intellect remained intact. Interviews with her were always captivating, as she spoke openly and candidly about her life and her past. Faithfull's ability to reflect on her experiences with both humor and depth made her a fascinating figure. She never allowed her past to define her. Instead, she used it as a springboard for growth and reinvention. She spoke of her struggles with substance abuse, her turbulent relationships, and the ups and downs of her career with a frankness that was both refreshing and inspiring. When the news of her passing broke, it marked the end of an era in the music world. Faithfull's voice, which had once captivated millions, was now silent, but her legacy would live on forever. She was more than just a singer, more than just a muse to Mick Jagger. She was an artist who transcended the labels that had been placed upon her. Her work, with its raw emotional depth and powerful authenticity, continues to inspire generations of musicians and fans alike. She was a trailblazer, a woman who carved out a place for herself in the world of music, refusing to be defined by the expectations of others. The outpouring of tributes to Faithfull in the wake of her passing was a testament to the impact she had on those who had been touched by her music. Mick Jagger, who had shared so much of his life with her, expressed his sadness in a heartfelt message. "I am so saddened to hear of the death of Marianne Faithfull. She was so much a part of my life for so long. She was a wonderful friend, a beautiful singer, and a great actress." His words echoed the sentiments of many who had loved and admired Faithfull throughout her life.